Big push once that water comes to full pool. We talked about that at the ABT South event at Logan Martin a little bit. The water was very low and had some of those fish held back waiting to go in. That's actually how the tournament was won there, Chapel and Davis, fishing mainly pre-spawners instead of spawners. But now we've got water where it should be here on all the cover, and I'm sure a lot of fish have followed it. Some topwater action going on here. We've seen 2 fish catches so far in this area. Hooked up. There we go. Like a decent fish there. I'm not sure on their boat number. We've tried to stay back off of them so far, so we're power poled down, waiting on them to get to us. They're poled down, catching fish. That's the second one we've seen get caught out of the back of the boat there. Yep. Measured it real quick. There we go. There you go. I like to see. That one went in the box for them, so again, we haven't gotten close enough to an update to see how many they have in the box. They did measure that one, which would indicate to me that they don't have a limit yet, or maybe that was their limit fish. When we first came in, we talked to the team of Will Harding and Mike Dutton. They had a 5-fish limit. And we saw them catch one as soon as we got in here. Just hoping one eats that buzz toad right there, right in front of Brenton's lens. I think what this team is doing is so important when you're fishing really, really shallow, especially around a crowd, is they have been power poled down for quite a while. They've caught one fish here. We've seen a couple fish blow up right there where he's throwing as well. Ooh, saw another one right there. They're power pole down and they're just picking it all apart, and there's so many boats in the area, and that kind of, you know, it's so shallow, they're kicking up a lot of mud. So I think, you know, when you're going behind a team, they've already let boat 29 really get away from him here as he picks up the power poles. And that's let the disturbance, you know, let that water, that sediment kind of calm down, and then you got really a fresh stretch. And they're approaching this different than Dutton and Hardin, to a little bit, you know, different presentation. So I think that's really important. Sometimes these tournaments with these big fields, 225, it's a lot of boats. And you gotta, you know, half the deal is managing your area. So power pole down, slow down, pick things apart. Seems to be working for these guys so far. I believe we've got Mr. Darian Craig joining me again. Darian, who have you caught up with?
Well, Kay sent a text that said, get an update from Damien and Tyler. So we left kind of, well, it's only a mile or so, two up the lake, but I'm actually down in the same pocket that you're in, this creek, but I'm on the left fork of it. It looks like you're in the right fork. So I followed Damien and Tyler in here, and first cast, when they got on this one spot, Damien missed one, or he set the hook. I would imagine it was a fish, but I just saw him swing and miss. But I'm seeing exactly what you were talking about. It is shallow, kicking up mud, and there's zero boats. There's zero boats over on this side, but I'm not close enough to the guys to get an update yet. I'm gonna stay back and just watch them fish. And Miss Kay asked a few questions earlier for us to answer from Facebook and YouTube Live. So for the viewers, if you've got any questions, we'd love to answer them. Me, Luke, and Jason Duran. If we can answer them, we will. So if you want to comment below, Miss Kay will relay them to us. These guys are our current anglers of the year after the first two events. Oh, good bite. That was awesome. That's not going to help them. By the way, if y'all get annoyed by my reaction sounds, the gaw and the ooh and the biggins, I can't help it. I apologize, but I cannot help it. It's a natural reaction. All right, guys, so we're gonna take it over to a little break. We've got some replay fish catch action to get us there. We appreciate you for spending your Saturday mornings with us, and we will catch you back here on live here in just a few minutes.
Live coverage of the Alabama Bass Trail is brought to you by Garmin, Power Pole, Big Bite Baits, Mountain Dew, Yamaha.
At Phoenix Phoenix Boats, our passion for fishing is obvious. Whether it's a pro event or fishing with our family and friends,
we truly love the sport of fishing.
That's why our goal is to make every single Phoenix boat that goes out the door the best fishing platform it can be in both design and construction.
We love to fish as much as anyone, and we believe it shows in every boat we build.
Phoenix Boats, built by anglers for anglers.
Here at Lanners McClarty Chevrolet, it's time to pick your offer on a new Chevy Silverado 1500. That's right, pick the offer that's best for you. Choose rates as low as 2.9% for 72 months, or how about up to $12,000 off all Silverados? They have the best selection in years with over 500 pre-owned vehicles available. Big store, big on savings, and big on customer service. Visit LannersMcClartyChevrolet.com.
Some things ain't worth keeping. Yesterday's traditions, today's adventures, tomorrow's memories. Now that's something worth keeping. Fish Alabama and find your keeper.
For more information, visit fishalabama.org.
French toast isn't just for weekends anymore. Get Jack's new French toast sticks any day of the week. Warm, southern made, and served with our sweet home-style syrup. Every day's a good day for French toast sticks at Jack's, starting at $2.99.
Stop of the North Division here at Wheeler Lake, and you are looking at Ingalls Harbor, one of the premier tournament destinations. Big time tournaments. You'll see Bassmaster, the Bassmaster Elite Series will be here in June. This is a phenomenal facility. 10-lane boat ramp, over 220 parking spots for trucks and trailers. One of the finest facilities you'll see anywhere in the country, not just in the Southeast. But we are at Wheeler Lake, and as we've already mentioned, and I know we've covered these guys a lot today, but they are already culling again in a new spot. Darian is on them. Tyler Kiker, Damian Willis, Tyler Kiker, leading your Angler of the Year points. We're going out to Darian now. They are making another cull. You can take a look at it right here. Darian?
Yeah, we followed these guys from back where they started at and ran down in the same creek as Luke, but a whole different side. There's 0 boats over here. I actually haven't seen Luke in here, but I know he was talking about there being several boats in the area. There's 0 on this side. And as soon as we pulled in, they idled back to the spot, and it's very, very shallow. Damien misses one on the very first cast. They've caught 2 fish, or 2 or 3 fish since we've been watching them in the last 10 minutes. So they pulled in and started making work out of it immediately. They came in and, oh, he just threw back a good one too. He looked over here and gave like a grin that was, we got him type of a grin. But look, y'all can't even see. I know that the camera will not even show what they're fishing, which is something that is incredible too. It's a detail that a lot of people would miss. I mean, you have to put in a lot of work to find what they've got here. They're fishing grass, and most people, if you idled through this looking for grass as a tournament angler, you could idle through this creek looking for this grass, and you would go right past it. You have to be fishing, or you have to know about this to realize that it's here. And it shows. It's not an obvious thing at all. You have to be fishing down this bank to find it. So that's one thing, is they've got this to themselves. It's only a stretch the size of, I bet it's 40 feet long and 10 feet across. It's a very small patch of grass, but they're power pulled down on it, and they've probably had 6 bites out of this one little patch, power pulled down. And you can see, look at on the back of their boat, you can see how their power pole, it's actually down right now, but that's how shallow it is. The poles aren't even going down that far. Oh, Damien's got another one on. That's another big one. I can't tell how big. That's that might cold too. We're probably going to see him at least put that on the balance beam. That looks like another 2.5 pounder. That one might not help him. I bet he's still, no. Wow. That's big for these guys. That was a good fish, but you can see their trolling motor on the front is up, which means it's that shallow. They don't want to mess up their transducer. Live scope transducers, they've got it tilted up, and then their power poles in the back. So they're fishing very, very, very shallow. And while I'm talking, I hear Jason, we can keep these guys up, but Jason's got a fish on, it sounds like. I don't know if we can pull their footage in or not, but. We'll wait on those guys. But yeah, it's awesome to see Damien and Tyler moving around. They're fishing the same style all day. They haven't changed their baits up or their cadences or retrieves or anything. Pretty much doing the same thing, just running over the different areas of the lake. And look, these guys are laser focused, but they're also like, they cut up a bunch too. They're having fun, and I don't know, they've got really good energy. We cover a bunch of different guys throughout the day, and you hear all of the emotions and all the energies, but these guys, every time we've talked to them or seen them, they're always the same level-headed and cutting up. Not necessarily cutting up, but they're just always good energy. And I think that probably shows why they're always, there's another fish. Oh, that one. Sheesh. That one looked to be a little bit bigger. I don't think it was a giant, but it did look a little bigger than the last one. Damien just got bit twice on that same cast. I don't know if y'all can see him shaking his head no right there. He paused reeling because he got bit twice on the exact same cast. I bet he catches it right here. I bet one of them is about to, we'll catch a fish right here. Nope, there he goes. Told you. Same spot.
Not sure what kind of witchcraft that was over my shoulder right there, guys. It sounded like a dragon from Harry Potter or something, but we're here with boat 192, John Burt, Daryl Lester, and we were with these guys before we went to break and had not been able to catch up to them and talk to them, but they have got 5 fish in the boat. We're seeing a buzzbait, we're seeing a buzz toad, we're seeing what looks to be something similar to a big bite trick stick. Lester's working it really slow out of the back. And I mentioned this before we went to break, but they power pole down for long periods of time, really seine an area, then pick the poles up, move another 20 yards, power pole back down. It's a really smart play, especially with the wind. And there's a lot of boats in the area too, so they can just pick it apart, show the fish a lot of different looks. And so far it's been working for them. We've seen them catch a couple since we've been in here. And I'll say this about John in the front of the boat. John will absolutely, he'll reel a bait in now. He has made so many casts with a buzz bait, with a buzz frog, chatterbait some, we've seen him mix that in. Absolutely covering water. Just trying to show these fish multiple looks. Back to the buzz toad. We would love to see one bite that. Well, yeah, we're having fun. We just need something to blow up on that top water to be even more fun. How much weight do you guys think you have? 10 pounds? Absolutely. You had a lot of bites in here this morning before we got in here? Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm sure you can't with the wind. He said they've seen a lot of, they've caught a good many fish, but they've seen a lot of fish caught in this area with all the boats. And now really the boat traffic in this one pocket in particular is cleared out. It's just Bert and Lester in here, so hoping to upgrade unofficially. Got about 10 pounds on the day. And this is that kind of cover that looks like every cast could be a 5-pounder. Plenty of stuff to throw at. But also the wind's blowing so hard, even in this pocket, we got a pretty daggum good chop in here. Making little mini swales that you can see his frog running through there. John Burt throwing that big bite baits, buzz, toad, and burning up the bank. As you can see, Lester, just the 1-2 approach though. And Lester's caught the fish we've seen since we've been in here. Really slow. What looks to be something along the lines of a trick stick. What's that? Oh yeah, most of the day. We're having a great time. Hey, listen, Miss Kay catches me fishing, I'm gonna get myself thrown in Alabama Bass Trail jail. But hey, when you get around these lily pads, I get to jonesing. I do want to make a cast. It's killing me watching y'all. Yeah, that's right. All right, I believe my buddy Jason Duran is joining us again. Jason?
Let's just say Wheeler, she's rough. She's rough. I mean, I've been to the Gulf of Mexico, and it ain't that bad, but she's rough. We're coming back, and we stopped right here on Spencer and Reese, and as soon as we pull up on them, they're catching a fish. And we just shot it in for replay for you guys to be able to look at. And, I mean, we didn't get much, but we got the best we could. As soon as we pull up on them, we see the net go, and I'm like, here we go. And they're yelling, you guys are bringing good luck. And they net that fish, get it in the box, call out. We're going to talk to them here in a minute. Let's find out what. Sorry for all the technical difficulties this morning. I know we've been all over the place with cell service, but you know, we had to go get them. So, guys, what kind of weight? We saw you call that one. What kind of weight you got? 3 keepers so far. Okay. Yeah, it's rough, right? That's what I was just telling them on live. I mean, I've been to the Gulf of Mexico, you know, and Wheeler today, I just said, she's rough. She's a rough one today. You don't want to hang out with her today. Yeah, we stayed on that side too, and it kind of smooths out a little bit for us. What was working for y'all in practice? I mean, y'all said you were at the, oh, got another one here. We're looking for some bigger ones. Been catching these little ones while we've been on, not been on live. Cameraman, I'm gonna slide around beside him here. We're gonna put this one on the ruler. I know it's windy, guys, I'm sorry. Was this even in the game plan in practice? moment of the show this morning to give these guys an update of what's going on down here. 3 fish. Had to make a run down here to where it's off. What's you got going on your end?
Yeah, man, I'm still with Damien and Tyler. They're fishing the same stretch of grass. I bet they've caught, that we've seen today, I bet they've caught 20 to 25 fish on camera. I bet, I don't know exactly, but I bet you they've missed, or they've set the hook on no fish that same amount of time. So you talk about 40 or 50 hook sets in a day. That's a lot of action going on. And a lot of times they'll set the hook once, set the hook twice, and then throw back in there a few minutes later and still be able to catch it. All of it's still on the swim jig, all of it just fishing shallow grass. And man, they're catching a lot of fish. Their smallest one is probably 2.5 by now, maybe even a little bigger than 2.5. The one they threw back was a really good fish. And I know they have that 1 4-pounder, and then the one they caught this morning, he said was 2.5. I think that was a 3-pounder. So they've got a really good bag, and we haven't been able to talk with them since we've been in this new spot on if they even upgraded more than what we're aware of. So there's really no telling what they've got, but they're just fishing this one little tiny stretch, and it is crazy. I mean, you would never see this. Honestly, even from where I'm standing at, and I'm, oh, got a bite, there he goes. Good one, that's a good one. They need this one, I think. There we go. That was a really good one. That might be another, that one's over 3 pounds. Dude, I'm sure, if y'all felt that hook set that Damian Willis just hit, if you're sitting on your couch somewhere in Anniston, Alabama, you felt that hook set. That was what shook your couch just then. That was a hook set from Damian Willis. That might have been the loudest hook set I've ever heard of from this far away in the wind. That was a good one. That was a 3.5, 4-pounder, right, Kenny? Yeah, Kenny's giving me a thumbs up. He's got a better view zoomed way in.
Darren, if you can hear me, I can update you on another team we stopped on when we didn't have cell service.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Jonathan Skinner and Joshua Clark, but 123 had 13 pounds. And I know about that time we had a question come in, have we seen any smallmouth caught? And they said they had a pretty big smallmouth. So hopefully we get to see that big one today.
Heck yeah, that one, hopefully they'll weigh that one.
That's Jonathan Skinner and Joshua, yeah. Jonathan Skinner and Joshua Clark, 13 pounds.
All right, y'all, here you go. We're getting, look at that hook set. Look at that hook set, gosh almighty. You can tell your partner always gonna burn her bait in when you got a big one on, but grab the net them up, and then they're pumped. And you've heard Damien today a few times has gotten a little excited like that, and you can hear it in his voice. He'll say, like, you know, he'll say some stuff, but you can tell he gets fired up especially when they catch a big one like that. And I don't know how well the camera saw possibly, but you could see that bite. I don't know if we were zoomed out enough, but you could actually see the majority of the fish catches that we've had today are visual. I mean, even from sitting how far we are, you can see the fish come up and actually get the bait. And I don't know, oh man, oh. I don't know how, all right, we might have another fish catch on live right here he just missed one right there. All right, we're back to live. Damien just missed one, and it was a big blow up. I don't know, let's see if we.
Might be right on top of them. Taken care of. Thank you. Sorry. Another fish on up here. Maybe a better fish this time. Nope. And you see the net man give up. You know it's not a
That's
good one.
always a telltale.
And it is our second catfish of the day. That, I don't know that that counts as a smallmouth. They do have a pretty smallmouth, but second catfish of the day. So if we're counting, that's 2 full meals taken care of.
One thing that I'm noticing that's very, very impressive about these guys, and by the way, I have no relationship to these guys. I have no reason to be pulling for these guys this much. I'm just a fan observing and getting to watch and talk about good fishing. But obviously, they're guys that have always caught fish in ABT, and in other tournaments in Alabama, you've always heard of these, both of these guys. But they've probably fished this same spot now for 40 minutes, I bet we've been in here, somewhere really close to it, 30 or 40 minutes. And they're throwing at a spot that's the size of your living room and kitchen. Like, it's a tiny, tiny spot. There's not a lot on it. It's just grass. It's very, very shallow. They've probably had 12 bites on this one little stretch. And I mean, they might have made 200 casts between both of them in 30 or 40 minutes. And they're power pulled down, throwing over and over and over and over at the same exact spot. Yeah, and Miss K just made a point. They're not using, they haven't touched live scope all day. They haven't looked at it one time. They've got 2 little sweet spots on it where they keep power pulling down at. You see Tyler is in the front now. He just raised the power poles up, and they're going to work back up towards us and work around this top side of it. And then, once they make their kind of little milk run around the spot, they'll go right back to that exact same spot, power pulled down there again. And that exact spot is where they've caught all but 2 or 3 of their fish, maybe all but 3 of them. Looks like they might be about to make a run. I believe they are. just swapping baits. I can't tell. Might just be swapping baits. But there's definitely a sweet spot on this thing, or a cast they like. I think the main reason is because they can, on the lower end of it down there where they keep power pulling down at, when they make a long cast, it goes all the way across the spot, so their bait's in the strike zone for much, much longer than anywhere else. Yeah, I'm just chilling. Y'all rolling? How much weight you got now? How much? No. Really? Okay. All right, Luke Duncan. I hear you got a fish catch.
Yes, sir. We got boat number 124, Lanny Guthrie, Chuck Hinton. Say they got 12 to 13 pounds in the boat. Another one of those Wheeler Lake limits. And right when we pulled up, just as he told us his boat number, they set the hook. It's got another one. He's going to see if it's going to cull for him. So fishing this main river. Just we ran up above Decatur a little ways, and these guys are attacking these main river banks in this wind. Unofficially, they estimate they got 12 to 13 pounds, so we'll see if this last fish is going to help them. As we made our way up from the flats, you know, we talked about the wind is the biggest story today, really. As you see, they got the balance beam out, seeing if this fish will cull. I think it helped. But the wind certainly the biggest factor today, and the Decatur Flats are obviously very popular for good reason, but it's such a stretch of wide open water that a lot of our teams have abandoned it now. It looks like a ghost town out there for the most part. There's a couple tucked in behind barges and barge tie-ups, and some of the bridges as you get to kind of the upper end of the flats. But for the most part, the wide open river ledge bars that are exposed to the elements are not getting hammered near as much as they were this morning. And as we've made our way above the Highway 31 bridge into the more, what I consider river section of Wheeler, kind of where it starts to really neck down here, from here all the way to Guntersville Dam. You got 40 plus miles from here to the tail race. We're seeing a lot of boats fishing these main river banks, and they're always really popular. Every time you're here, you see a lot of fish get caught. So we're going to bounce around on some of these teams for the rest of the time we're out here. See if we can get some good solid updates. And a lot of our teams that we had trackers on that we anticipated doing very well in this event are in this area. A couple of I'm surprised by that are lower end, known more for their lower end expertise, and they're up here in this end. And I don't know if that's a weather decision or this is where they'd been catching fish. Some more chatterbait action as Jason predicted this morning. We've seen a lot of that today. And as I'm sure you can hear through my mic, the wind has not let up very much in the last little bit. We got out of it for a little bit in the backwater, but out here on the main river, even though this is somewhat more protected than the flats, you're still earning your stripes right now fishing out here in it. You can see when they get off the trolling motor just a little bit how they drift back immediately. TVA not running a ton of water, not a lot of current today. 12,000 cubic feet per second is projected, but this wind is blowing right down the river, same direction as the current, so speeding things up just a little bit for our anglers. And on a lot of these main riverbanks, as you go up from the Decatur Flats, you can see them ripping these chatterbaits. You get little pockets of eelgrass that'll grow right on the main riverbank. Looks like that's what these guys are targeting. There's also a lot of floating eelgrass, which is a pain in the neck to fish around because it makes fishing a moving bait or any bait really difficult. There's a pretty good line of it starting to build down through here as well. mentioned earlier this morning that you need all your equipment to be right on cue today. Those Pro Guide batteries sure do come in handy when you're fighting the wind like this all day long, like we see so many of our anglers doing, like Guthrie and Hinton right here. Just going against that current created by the wind and the Guntersville Dam. All right, and as we click by another hour here on the Alabama Bass Trail Live, we're going to check in with our sponsors to make it all possible, and we're going to go to break and look at the team of Willis and Kiker, who have been the story of the day on ABT Live, and we'll be back for more live action from Wheeler Lake in just a few minutes.
The Alabama Bass Trail, brought to you by Halo Fishing, Net Bait, Bait Fuel, Snag Proof.
At Phoenix Boats, our passion for fishing is obvious. Whether it's a pro event or fishing with our family and friends,
We truly love the sport of fishing.
that's why our goal is to make every single Phoenix boat that goes out the door the best fishing platform it can be in both design and construction.
We love to fish as much as anyone, and we believe it shows in every boat we build.
Phoenix Boats, built by anglers for anglers.
Here at Lanners McClarty Chevrolet, it's time to pick your offer on a new Chevy Silverado 1500. That's right, pick the offer that's best for you. Choose rates as low as 2.9% for 72 months, or how about up to $12,000 off all Silverados? They have the best selection in years with over 500 pre-owned vehicles available. Big store, big on savings, and big on customer service. Visit LannersMcClartyChevrolet.com.
Nobody wants to run out of power when they're on the water. There is a better way. Introducing the Charge Marine Power Management Station from PowerPole that does the work of 3 devices: a traditional battery charger, a charge on the run, and an emergency start system. PowerPole Charge.
Let's go!
Ooh, I love it.
Let's go! I think we should get some more. Let's go!
And she got it good too, T-boned it.
Let's go! I love it. Cheers! Let's go.
I've worked at Jack's all over the South. You know, I just love to make good food.
Enjoy. Will do.
For good people. Like our boneless wings.
They're back, y'all.
It all starts with our house-made sauces. We have this new kickin' bourbon.
A little southern heat for you.
And of course, our classic buffalo and sweet honey barbecue. We're cooking hearty, wholesome Southern food that's meant to be shared.
You read my mind.
So come on back for our boneless wings in 3 bold flavors. I'm Austin Swain, and I'm all about the South.
Welcome back to the third stop of the Alabama Bass Trail North Division, Wheeler Lake in beautiful Decatur, Alabama. You are looking at Ingalls Harbor, one of the premier fishing tournament destinations in all of the country, not just the Southeast and certainly not just in Alabama. This is a very pivotal tournament, and I guess you could say this has been the Willis and Kiker Live presented to you by Amherst. These guys have put on a clinic this morning, and Wheeler Lake has shown out. It's going to be interesting to see what the winning weight is. We kind of talked about that yesterday. We still think it's going to be over 20 pounds, but somewhere between that 12 and 13 pound range is what most people felt like it would take to get a check. So we'll see it all go down here at 2:30 today. Here at Ingalls Harbor, the first 50 people to come into the weigh-in, we will be giving out Crush City hats as promoted by Rapala. So appreciate all of that and thank those guys for being a part of the Alabama Bass Trail. 2 things I want to point out today. Mr. Ben Cole is not with us. He's our normal everyday drone operator, but Ben and Shelby are expecting their first baby, and today is supposed to be baby day. It was due day today. Don't know if that's going to happen, but Ben and Shelby, we're thinking about you, and we cannot wait to meet this new baby girl. So wishing you all the best. And also for everyone listening, the 2025 Alabama Bass Trail schedule will be announced next Friday, May the 3rd at 10 a.m. You'll be able to see it on the website and all of our social media channels right here on Facebook and on Instagram. You'll be able to check it out there. All the dates, places, times, all the things that you need to know will be on that flyer, as well as in the press release that you'll be able to see on alabamabasstrail.org. 5 lakes in the north, 5 lakes in the south, and a championship due to come back to the north. We'll see where it lands this year. Excited about that. One thing I do want to cover is entry fee stayed the same, $1,600 per team per division. 2 ways to pay for that: $600 non-refundable deposit, and the balance is due on December the 20th, 2024, or you can pay the full amount, $1,600, and you would be able to get a refund anytime before December 31st. So that will be all live on Friday, May the 3rd at 10 a.m. on our social media channels and on alabamabasstrail.org. Excited to announce that for everyone. I've had several calls and emails over the past week. Anyone who is currently on the waiting list does not get priority registration. It will go live to the public on August the 15th. And it is first come, first serve. The first 225 boats in each division will be the roster for 2025. Excited about that. Over $750,000 paid out to our winners, and part of that is the $100,000 no entry fee championship that we'll have next year. So I almost slipped and told you where that was going to be, but it's going to be a fun one. I can just tell you it's going to be a fun one. We have, this is our, what I would call our hump year tournament. This will be the 3rd stop in the North Division. We've already had the 3rd stop in the South Division, so pretty much our season is halfway over. We have 4 more regular season events, 2 more Alabama Bass Trail 100s, and a championship left. So a lot of work left to do, but what we have seen today is the anglers are doing work. I'm going to pull my sheet over here that I'm keeping notes with. As I mentioned, Damian Willis, Tyler Kiker, said it was going to be fast and furious for them this morning, and they were correct, putting their first fish in the boat while boat 39 was being blasted off. We could hear it from the ramp. John Kellett, Zeke Gossett, they had 5 fish for between 14 and 15 pounds. That was very early this morning at 7:27. A team that does very well here, Donnie Beck, Tony Harvey, we saw them down in Spring Creek around some bridges. Wasn't having a lot of luck. They had no fish in the boat when we talked to them. That will change before the end of the day. Grubbs and Ferguson, 5 fish limit for over 16 pounds, and that was at 7:54 this morning. These guys have a long day to fish. They could possibly be our first back-to-back winners. We'll see. We checked in with Ryan and Fisher and Naya earlier in the morning. They had 1 fish in the boat. We saw them have a couple of short fish. We will try to check in with them later on today before we go off of live. Joshua Clark and Jonathan Skinner had 13 pounds, had a 5 fish limit. Landy Guthrie and Chuck Hinton, 5 fish limit for 12 to 13 pounds. We just covered them. Boat number 29, Will Harding and Mike Dutton, they had a 5 fish limit. Just going through some of the other names here. on my sheet that we have covered. Boat 201, Jeff Cannon, Marty Colley, they had 5 fish, 13 to 15 pounds. Weren't really weighing those, so we did see Terry Pryor and Terry Mann to make sure that they've got fish in the boat. They did not have a limit when we talked with them last, but they did have fish in the boat. So a lot of teams we've not been able to cover. You've seen the wind conditions. You've seen the conditions out on the lake. Our guys can't run very far and stay live, so we're trying to keep them very close, touching as many teams as they can, covering as many teams as they can. You are looking at the Railroad Trestle Bridge and the Highway 31 bridge right there. That I think is the I think that is the co-op that you were looking at right there. Real pretty sight. Wheeler Lake, the second largest lake in the Tennessee chain in Alabama. Gunnersville's over 69,000 acres. Wheeler is 67,000 acres. So a lot of fun going on here. We're going to involve the entire Tennessee River chain next year when we visit Wilson for an Alabama Bass Trail 100. So going to be fun to have all 4 Tennessee River lakes in the Alabama Bass Trail season next year. So looking forward to that. Again, the new schedule will be announced on Friday, May the 3rd at 10 o'clock on all of our social media channels and on alabamabasstrail.org. Do want to remind you, if you're coming out today for the weigh-in, we are here at Ingalls Harbor. It's a nice sunny day. It's been nice and sunny for the last few days. I don't know how wet the ground is. Fortunately for me, I have been on vacation, so I haven't been here to know what the weather's been in Decatur, Alabama. But it's a beautiful day. Please bring your lawn chairs. Please bring your umbrellas. Come out and enjoy the weigh-in. It's a beautiful place to watch a weigh-in, and the first 50 that come through will receive a Crush City hat provided to you by Rapala. So thank you to those guys for being part of the Alabama Bass Trail first year sponsors. But based on what we know right now, Damian Willis, Tyler Kiker are the unofficial leaders on that Pro Guide Batteries leaderboard. They have flat wrecked them today. It's been a real fun thing to watch. Craig Grubbs, Matt Ferguson, they may have something to say about that. They were catching them well too, and it reported about 16 pounds. We have a report, and we saw the fish on camera. Is it an 8-pounder? It was a pretty fish, so I hope we get to see that. I hope that takes the spot on the Mountain Dew Big Bass leaderboard. Maybe we'll see something even larger than an 8-pounder. That sure would be a fun one to watch. My guess is it's going to take a little over 20 pounds. I would say probably 20.3, something like that, to take home the win today. Will they take home the Phoenix First Flight bonus? A lot of the guys we've seen in that top 15 to 16 pound range right now are riding with Phoenix. So we're going to get back out on the water with Luke. I think Luke is all right. We're going to go straight out to Luke on the water. You're going to get to see the picture of that 8-pounder, and we're going out to Luke right now. He's on boat number 17. Luke?
Miss Kay, we're out here rocking and rolling. Lots of fish being caught on Wheeler. Lots of waves being rode. I'm trying to get in position a little bit better. We're on boat 17, Jimmy Wilson, Brian Holcomb. We asked them if we could pull in and film, and they said, absolutely, you're not going to hurt us. Having a tough morning, got 2 fish in the boat, but we're gonna hang with them here for a minute just because they're doing something a little bit different. They're actually fishing a mud line coming out of one of the backwaters here, right above the 31 bridge. Swing the boat around here so we can get spotlight with them here. But yeah, fishing a mud line right on the main river, and there's a lot of boats in this area jockeying position on a lot of the banks and a lot of these little current seams. They're just fishing slow, taking their time, and we see boats over their shoulder over in the backwater fishing. We see a lot of people still fishing a lot of the main river cover that you see, a lot of industrial cover. Once you get above the 31 bridge, right on the river, I believe we've got Darian going to join me here. Come on in, Darian.
Well, Luke, I just want to talk a little bit about fishing tackle, man. I've been able to watch some really good fishing today, and I have observed and I've taken some notes that hopefully whoever's watching us will be able to learn from, and I'd like to share a little bit. So a couple things happened today that I saw. Swim Jig is the main player for Willis and Kiker. Chatterbait has been probably the second player with a spinnerbait, and they've different kind of trailers on the chatterbait, but I'll talk about the swim jig first. So this morning we talked about the cleanup crawl from Crush City, and it's just your standard crawl style bait. The one that I brought with me is black and blue, but they're throwing one almost identical to this, but it is white. They're going all white on this tournament, and basically what they're doing, if y'all have been able to watch, when they're reeling their bait, they're pumping their rod. They call it the Alabama shake. When you fish a swim jig, keep it up high in the grass, and all of those bites you're seeing, the fish are coming out of the water and grabbing the bait. The crawl style bait like this, it's got those two little flappers on there. If you use a crawl style bait, helps keep the bait up in the water. So when they're fishing it over the top of that grass, those fish are just blowing up on it. So something like this is your best bet, whereas a swim bait, keep the water down a little bit further in the water column, and sometimes you want that to happen, but today the guys were doing the Alabama shake. That's how that was going. The second thing they're doing, probably, you know, this is definitely their second approach, is a chatterbait with either a swim bait trailer or a straight tail freeloader style trailer like this one. And again, shad color. This one is sight flash. It's just a real pretty shad color, but you've just got a straight tail, and this one's got a bunch of action on the back. So the bait it's not a boot tail. It doesn't have a real big kicking action, so you're letting the chatterbait do the work. You can see Tyler's been working a chatterbait a lot today, and he'll hop his rod a bunch. That makes the bait dart around instead of just a straight retrieve. So when you hop that chatterbait on a bait or with a trailer that's got no boot tail like this one, it's going to make it hunt more and dart around, oftentimes resembling a bait fish. So it was very cool that the two baits I brought today were almost what these guys have been throwing, very similar to these two baits. But thanks for Pala and Crush City for sponsoring the Alabama Bass Trail this year, and I just wanted to do a little bait talk from what I've been seeing. So now we're just north of Ingalls. You can see we've got a boat up here. And what I was talking about earlier, and if we can probably turn around and look backwards, actually. So the cool thing about fishing in Decatur, in the city, is there's a bunch of little pockets like this one. You're on the main river. Where the boat's sitting right now is an actual river channel where there's a lot of current, and you've got big barges, and everybody uses this main waterway for transportation down the Tennessee River. However, there's these little backwater pockets that are so cool to me about the city of Decatur, because you've got random boat docks and random floating docks and an old railroad tie wall there, some sort of wall in the back. You've got a bunch of trash mats. Here's an old boat dock that's 20 years old that's not there anymore, but all of those little things, trees laying in the water, busted up concrete slabs up there. You'll find that all around the banks in the city of Decatur, and that makes for really good fishing and good junk fishing. And we've seen that, this boat in front of us, we actually didn't even get to talk to them, because while we're doing the bait talk, they fished in and out of this pocket. But a lot of that going on in Decatur right now. And for today, it's a little bit out of the wind, so we've seen a lot of guys chasing that as well, just to honestly get out of this wind. As Jason mentioned earlier, it is like the Gulf of Mexico here today. So Luke, I don't know if you're still around. I'm gonna stand up and try to hunt up to these guys. So if y'all are gonna stick with me, we're gonna troll up here. If I need to toss somebody else, y'all can take it.
So I know Darian just did a little bit of a bait breakdown, but I was going to show two different style trailers that I have seen this morning out here on these chatterbaits up close and personal. And that straight style trailer, like he's saying, he's seen guys using, and it's going to let the bait, the chatterbait sink a little deeper in the column, and that's a Crush City freeloader right there. And then another one that's going to give you more action to keep that bait up a little higher. It's got a thicker profile, but then it's got this crazy swimming tail. So that's the Big Bite Baits Kamikaze Swim On right there. So two different style trailers that are going to be really effective. Like he was saying on the swim jig, something with a little more kicking action is going to keep that bait up high. Works on a chatterbait the same way. This is going to keep my bait up a little higher. I'm going to skip it under docks, around trees. It helps me when I rip it out of the grass. It puts off a lot of action. And then this freeloader style, still, even though it's a straight tail, you can see right there. I mean, it's got a lot of action to it, but it doesn't flap and carry on as much, and it's going to help that bait sink down just a little bit deeper. So 2 style trailers right there, Big Bite Kamikaze swim on, and that Crush City freeloader right there. And the freeloader, I believe, has more fish catches and money attached to it in the last couple of seasons than any bait I've seen in recent memory. And we've seen guys using it just on a ball head jig today out off the flats as well. So certainly a versatile bait from Crush City right there. And then that Big Bite, they got the Kamikaze swim on, and they got the Kamikaze crawl that makes a good swim jig trailer. You can also Texas rig it right now as well. So just wanted to tag on to that a little bit. I don't know what Darian, I can't see what Darian was showing you, but I bet this was better, you know. Darian, what
Luke,
do you,
I don't know of any bait.
Seeing anybody catch any fish? Like, I feel like I just gave a better description of
No.
everything than you did. I'm just saying.
You did not give a better description, most importantly, but I'm not seeing anyone catch
Okay.
anything. But to tag off of your how much money that bait's been won, how about the fact that when that bait launched, Dustin, Jacob won back to back to back to back. Like, I don't remember a bait launching and then winning that many tournaments immediately than that one for sure.
Yeah, it's been very, very, very dominant. There's no doubt about it. And to look just like that soft plastic jerkbait style bait, you know, it is very versatile though. We're seeing it used a lot of different ways.
It's different.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Seeing it on a scrounger head, seeing it on a chatterbait trailer, seeing it on a, you can throw it weightless even. I've caught fish on it like that.
Yeah. Have y'all got any fish so far? 2? This wind's something, ain't it? What was y'all's boat number? Boat number 9. Boat number 9, 2 fish. And he said they're here. It's just hard to, with the wind, it's hard to get on them and be able to make the right cast. Yeah, and Pickwick. Yeah. Jeez.
And they're pushing 135,000 gallons.
Jeez.
We were at the mercy of it. We pulled out of there, started to take off. I went. He said, "What you doing?" I said, "The boat ain't turning."
Wow, that's not good.
It was able to turn to the right. Lucky where we was at, we just spun right around, right back in there, put the boat on front of you.
Wow. Well, at least you got it fixed. He said at the Pickwick tournament. Now, these guys, the last time I saw them, my man in the front was laying down. I didn't know if it was because he hated how cold and windy it was, or what the deal was. But he said he ran up to the dam after that, and the steering column went out, or the steering went out on his engine, and so they just wouldn't put it on the trailer. Which I don't blame them for that at all. Miss Kay or Luke or Jason, if anyone is around or able to talk about fishing, I'd love to make a little run. We've got a couple guys in the area doing a couple different things. We might try to grab a couple more boats before we do the wrap up. We've seen some crankbait. Miss Kay, they're throwing crankbaits. They're throwing jerk baits. It's windy. And actually, the good thing is the water's not gotten muddy because of the wind. I think that's also helping guys kind of stay in the zone and not give up. But I mean, if it's windy and it's blowing in the bank, but it's still clean water, that helps your mental be able to stay in it for sure. But I will toss it over to you. We're gonna go make a little run and find somebody, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Darian, I want to ask a question. If your audio can stay up, I wanted to ask you a question. This morning, you know, it was very important to me that you follow Damian and Tyler since they are the Anglers of the Year. Talk about how impressive that first hour was with them.
Yeah, it was one of the, we're getting spun around. Honestly, it was one of the most impressive first hours that I've seen because you're lead angler of the year. There's so much stress about that, especially the fact that these guys catch them from the Coosa River to Smith to the Tennessee River, and it's all different styles of fishing, plus all the weather that we've had this year. It's impressive to say at the top, so there's always a lot of pressure regardless, but specifically to be able to pull up on your first spot in a tournament that's a big one like an Alabama Bass Trail event and then start catching them is very impressive. So there was a shad spawn going on for sure. The first 15-20 minutes it was as good as of a shad spawn as you could get almost. Fish blowing up everywhere, not just on their baits. Like I was mentioning, they're working that swim jig and they're pumping it, keeping the bait really high, almost on the very top of the water. And the fish were literally blowing, when they would come up and get it, their whole body's going out of the water. So visually it was awesome to watch. And I had a first row seat, so that was really fun for me. But also just the whole stretch, everything was going on. So it wasn't just happening on their baits. You were watching bait fish have that happen to them too. So if those guys could be casting with 2 arms, I bet that's what they would have wanted to do, because it's like you couldn't keep enough baits in the water. You could see them burning their baits in really quick, making cast, and then as soon as that bait would get out of the strike zone, burn it in really fast, because that small window of time is so critical during a shad spawn. And when you get on a stretch that's loaded like that, we saw that just as fast as things can start, they can also stop that quickly. So once they made their first big pass around, every pass after that got slower and slower and slower. And so you want to maximize every cast, make every single cast count. Little things like backlashes and not casting exactly on the spot, not letting your bait slam really hard on the water and splash. Those are the kind of things you need to make sure you're doing your part when the fishing is good, because you're not going to have a big window of time to do that. Unfortunately, and Damian jokes about this, so I don't mind saying it, but they lost opportunities, and he said they should have around 18 to 20 pounds, and you hate to see that, which the fishing was good. And one thing I mentioned about those guys is they never broke character. They never got upset. I never saw them slam their rods down or anything, or not. They didn't even punch. Like, they stayed very mentally in it. And I think that's why they've been able to keep culling and keep catching fish all day, because when something like that happens, it's very easy to get spun out and let it ruin your day. But those guys fought through it, and that's why they're leading Angler of the Year.
That's true. That's true. Thanks, Darian. We're going to go ahead and let you get out of here and get to another spot where we're basically 30 minutes away from our Bush Light wrap up for the day. So we'll let Darian go. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to take a quick commercial break, let the guys get repositioned, and we'll be back for the last 30 minutes of Alabama Bass Trail Live here on Wheeler Lake, provided to you by Amherst.
The Alabama Bass Trail, brought to you by Halo Fishing, Net Bait, Bait Fuel, Snag Proof.
At Phoenix Boats, our passion for fishing is obvious. Whether it's a pro event or fishing with our family and friends,
we truly love the sport of fishing.
That's why our goal is to make every single Phoenix boat that goes out the door the best fishing platform it can be, in both design and construction.
We love to fish as much as anyone, and we believe it shows in every boat we build.
Phoenix Boats, built by anglers for anglers.
Here at Lanners McClarty Chevrolet, it's time to pick your offer on a new Chevy Silverado 1500. That's right, pick the offer that's best for you. Choose rates as low as 2.9% for 72 months, or how about up to $12,000 off all Silverados? They have the best selection in years with over 500 pre-owned vehicles available. Big store, big on savings, and big on customer service. Visit LannersMcClartyChevrolet.com.
Nobody wants to run out of power when they're on the water. There is a better way. Introducing the Charge Marine Power Management Station from PowerPole that does the work of 3 devices: a traditional battery charger, a charge on the run, and an emergency start system. PowerPole Charge.
Let's go!
Ooh, I love it.
Let's go. I think we should get some more.
Let's go!
And she got it good too. T-boned it.
Let's go. I love it. Cheers.
Let's go.
I've worked at Jack's all over the South. You know, I just love to make good food.
Enjoy.
Will do. For good people. Like our boneless wings.
They're back, y'all.
It all starts with our house-made sauces. We have this new kickin' bourbon.
A little southern heat for you.
And of course, our classic buffalo and sweet honey barbecue. We're cooking hearty, wholesome southern food that's meant to be shared.
You read my mind.
So come on back for our boneless wings in 3 bold flavors. I'm Austin Swain, and I'm all about the South.
Welcome back to the Alabama Bass Trail here at Wheeler Lake, stop number 3 of the North Division. And as you can see, the muscle of the Alabama Bass Trail is back. The guys are back. They're assembling the stage, getting everything set up for the weigh-in today. They're going to weigh in 225 teams, probably well over 1,000 bass come across the stage today. You see the new tanks in the background, the Big Daddy. That's our new fish care equipment provided to you by the Alabama Bass Trail and the Alabama RC&D. Really thankful for those guys coming on board with us and helping us purchase that new fish care equipment. Very important that we get those fish back in the water as quickly and as safely as possible, and really excited to have that equipment as part of the Alabama Bass Trail team. Got 10 guys out there doing all they can do to get that trailer set up and ready for the weigh-in. Miss Mary will be coming in just a little bit. So it takes a village to do these kinds of things. We got guys out on the water. We got guys back here. We got the wizard behind the screen at all times. But right now we have Jason Duran out on the water. He is with boat number 95, Matthew Fincher, Jacob Kimbrough. Jason, how many fish they got in the boat?
All right, we've caught up with boat number 95. Guys, tell us what's been going on today besides, I know it's rough, okay? We got that much. Everybody's... We need a little more wind. That's what we need. So where'd y'all start out this morning?
Started off on a shell bed on Main River.
And the wind picked up and you had to leave, or it just wasn't productive?
No, we sat there until probably 10 o'clock all morning, taking them over the bow, but we were catching solid 3.5 pound fish. Every 5 or 6 casts. We tried about half an hour. Get out of it for a little while, maybe a little high down, we could take it again here.
So guys at home, they were catching them about every cast, had to pull out, wind got a little rough, kind of let it rest a little bit, and then y'all move over here. What's the game plan on this side? So you got 13 pounds, you think? Oh, 17, okay. How many times you called today? Okay, good.
Most of them over there are roughly about the same size. They're not, just drastic bulls, but we got 2,
Yeah. Good. That really helps. Could you stay on? If you could go back to it, would you?
We could have sat on it and stayed the whole time.
Okay.
The line really slowed down.
Yeah.
At that point. They took over, let it settle, and maybe the fish will start feeding again here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was where we sat first thing this morning.
Did you have any company there?
Had one boat just upriver from us. They were catching a few fish also. They probably left 2 hours before we did.
Yeah.
Biggest thing you couldn't ask for a better bite this morning.
Good.
We had to limit by 6:20.
Good deal. Looking for 7, 8 pounder now, right? Yeah. Good deal. Well, guys, as y'all heard at home, maybe you didn't. Guy sitting on about 18 pounds, looking for a little more. Started out on the spot this morning. Chance there to upgrade. Might have just died on him a little bit. I felt like they could have stayed there all day. Over here to kind of upgrade that and work on it a little more, and hopefully that will pay off. All right, then we'll slide into a 3-box one more time today. Bring you guys some, hopefully, fish catching action.
Jason, you just randomly slid up on some guys that are straight putting the hammer down, and they were trying to be humble about it, but it sounds like they're having an extremely unbelievable day. What was that?
100% agree.
That
from all the
that's
way
the
from
beauty.
Spring Creek to here.
No,
there ain't nobody else out here. These are the
That
only
is
guys
the
I found
beauty
so
of
far.
us. That's hilarious. That's the beauty
I'm
of us
cutting y'all
just pulling
off.
up on random. Okay.
I said I got to jump in
Come
here
on in,
too
Luke. What
because
you
I
got?
just pulled up on a team.
What you
Mark
got?
Singleton, Jake Abernathy, and they got 17 or 18 pounds.
Okay.
And been sitting on those catching them when we got here.
We'll give you a
So,
chance.
yeah, we
It's no
making
longer the
moves
Darian
late.
show.
buddy.
Are they catching them? Are y'all on? Are they sitting on the spot where they're catching the fish at?
Yes. They were catching them as we pulled
Well,
up.
where y'all at? I'm
and
gonna
they've
slide
been
up
sitting
there.
here.
Where y'all at? I'm gonna.
Well, I don't give up my spots, Darian.
You don't
Yeah.
give up the juice, okay? I give you $5 for it.
I ain't giving up the juice.
Well, looky there. There's a little
Right when we
turn of
pulled up,
events
though.
happened.
No doubt about it. Fish being caught today on Wheeler without a doubt, despite the crazy
and
conditions.
I think guys are willing to manage the conditions too. You know, they ran out there early this morning and jumped on that spot. Didn't have much company in their spot, and you know the bite died down a little bit. Made the sense to kind of run back across the other side of the lake, and fishing somewhat the same kind of thing, just a little river ledge here. But they're willing to stand out here in it. So I don't see any other guys from here to, you know, take off.
That's about
Only boat out
10
here.
10,000 yards, dude.
Not from where I am.
Do you need me to come measure that distance?
Not where I am.
Yeah, Abernathy and Singleton here, they said they've been on this spot since 6:30 this morning. Been catching them off and on the entire time. And they are out of the wind protected, so they're having themselves a day. It's like where we're sitting right now, you wouldn't even know the wind's blowing.
Oh gosh.
Well, if they forgot, I'll be sure to let them know it still is.
Yeah, come on. I'll show you where it is blowing. How about that?
Yeah, I can point you in the direction of it. We pulled
You
up.
pass a
We pulled
nuclear
up on boat
plant.
number 190.
It's a whole different day.
Yeah. We are on boat number 195. They're fishing right under the railroad bridge, just right here in Decatur. And they got 2 fish. They're going with the old nose the boat in the wind, spot lock, and we're both going to drag a jig off the back deck. That's the approach they're going with. I must say it's not producing the 18 pounds that y'all are witnessing, but this is you get to this point of the day every now and then where it's just windy and you're like, let's just both fish off the back deck and be comfortable, and that's about where these guys are. So yeah. Oh, there's a train driving over me right now. This is the sketchiest thing I've ever been a part of. I'm getting out of here. This is not. I'm out of there. I was under the bridge because it looked pretty, and then all of a sudden there's a train running over us.
The best part about it, Darian, is I can see you from where I'm at, and I'm watching you run. And now the train's coming my way.
Can you actually see me? Is that you over there?
I can't. Yep. Yes, sir.
Oh, I see you waving.
Hey, bud.
Hey. Hey, there's LD. He's that's about 1,300 yards.
It's about, yeah, I would say
1300.
more like 1750, but 1750 probably.
Yeah.
A little closer. 1750. Yeah. Here comes the train on my side. Now you're going to hear it in my audio. Give him the blow the horn. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Get it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Oh, you're so immature, bro. Did you do the train horn thing like when you like the?
I did indeed do the train horn.
You learned that from Ryder. That's a Ryder move.
Yeah, that's a Ryder Duncan move. He learned it from his dad, though. Been doing that on the interstate since '83.
83, boy, you old, boy. Hey, you're really close to where. I'm joking, guys. Chill, y'all. I was joking. I was born in '94. Luke, you're really close to where Damian and Tyler were. You're just on the other side of the bridge from them. This morning, where they started at was
yes, sir.
100 yards away from me.
Well, there's apparently a lot swimming around in this area.
Yeah.
As always.
There's an Amazon Prime container.
I wonder if that thing got DoorDash, bringing some jacks. Train dash.
Yeah. Look at it. I mean, I guess it's not really that cool, and everybody expected it, but I've never seen an Amazon Prime container before.
One of those containers just said y'all sweet tea. I don't know what you're getting on a container load, but. Oh, here comes Amazon my way. I see it now.
Yeah.
Right next to the y'all container.
Right next to the y'all container. Yeah. Peachy peachy.
Kay's going to send you an invoice for all this advertising. I can't wait.
I sat down earlier to do the bait placement, to do the bait speech, and that was just so my y'all sweet tea thigh tack could be free promoted on there.
You don't hear a lot of guys on fishing covers talk about their thigh tats very often.
Nobody is. Nobody is.
You know, Davey.
I bet Mark McKegg didn't say anything about his thigh tat today.
Oh, Davey. Oh, Ronnie Moore talking about his thigh tat.
Yeah. Ronnie Moore's got a lower back tattoo. What are you talking about? And a teardrop tat on his face. I've seen it. He covers it up with makeup. Yeah. Ronnie did hard time. Allegedly. We're having way too much fun. I'm just so happy to be out of the wind.
Yeah.
Britton is too. Britton has almost went in so many times today.
Look, Britton's got a University of Montevallo. I don't know. It's. I don't know which way. It's coming from every way.
Definitely not coming from the south.
She's coming straight out of the east, right?
I think so.
Is that way east? Yeah, that's northeast.
Blowing right down the lake.
I do think it changed directions today, though. Or maybe we were just in a bend. Earlier we were able to get on this bank and get out of the wind. Well, Kay just said it's 9-mile-an-hour gusts coming out of the north. It's 9 plus
I think
14.
There's 45 coming out of the east.
Well, look, I'm looking at a flag, and if that's north, then I'm all backwards in life right now. North is south and south is north. Because these flags is about to rip off right out of the south. Southeast. I mean, I'm not Magellan.
Well, we've talked about 8-pounders, thigh tats, flags blowing south and north at the same time. One thing's for certain though, we're gonna head over to a commercial break. We'll do the bush light roundup here in just a few minutes, so y'all stay tuned. We're gonna go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
The Alabama Bass Trail is brought to you by Phoenix Boats, Landers McClarty Chevrolet, McGraw-Webb Chevrolet, and by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
At Phoenix Boats, our passion for fishing is obvious. Whether it's a pro event or fishing with our family and friends,
We truly love the sport of fishing.
that's why our goal is to make every single Phoenix boat that goes out the door the best fishing platform it can be in both design and construction.
We love to fish as much as anyone, and we believe it shows in every boat we build.
Phoenix Boats, built by anglers for anglers.
Here at Landers McClarty Chevrolet, it's time to pick your offer on a new Chevy Silverado 1500. That's right, pick the offer that's best for you. Choose rates as low as 2.9% for 72 months, or how about up to $12,000 off all Silverados? They have the best selection in years with over 500 pre-owned vehicles available. Big store, big on savings, and big on customer service. Visit LandersMcClartyChevrolet.com.
Welcome to Minnow King. How can I help you?
Everything looks good. I'm friggin' starving, man. Been spawning all morning.
Ugh, TMI, bro. What do you want?
I'll take a Crush City freeloader and gizzard shad.
Anything to drink?
Water.
Pull ahead, please. Welcome to Minnow King.
We're gonna have what he's had. Yeah, throw me in a Ned BLT, too.
Pull ahead, please.
Calm down. Quit feeding him so much.
Hey, man, I'm trying to, man.
If you overfeed him, he's gonna hide under a log.
The perfect checking account doesn't exist. Not at a bank, that is. So why do you keep looking there? At AmFirst, you can get no minimum balance or monthly fees, an instant issue debit card, and free checks with unlimited check writing. But who doesn't want more? Like a rewards program you'll actually use, and convenient digital tools that make it easy to manage your account from anywhere. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
Stetson Blaylock, Todd Auten, Head Cherry. Let's go!
Garmin Live Scope, I tell you right now, if you don't have it, you are behind. It's just wild. It's like a video game.
If you do not have that Garmin Live Scope, you are definitely missing out.
Bassmaster Classic Champion!
I've worked at Jack's all over the South. You know, I just love to make good food.
Enjoy.
Will do. For good people. Like our boneless wings.
They're back, y'all.
It all starts with our house-made sauces. We have this new kickin' bourbon.
A little southern heat for you.
And of course, our classic buffalo and sweet honey barbecue. We're cooking hearty, wholesome southern food that's meant to be shared.
You read my mind.
So come on back for our boneless wings in 3 bold flavors. I'm Austin Swain, and I'm all about the South.
All right, here we are for the Bush Light wrap up. This is where we take a moment and go all the way around the lake and see what we've all each seen today. So we'll take a moment, each of us, and break down our areas of the lake. We started out this morning We took off with all that first group, tried to find some guys, and we really didn't find any guys that kind of stayed with us. All the guys really ran down lake. So we stopped for a minute, and we're just like, hey, see if any guys kind of come to the flats was kind of our plan. Darian was already set up on a team. He was filming, so we made the run. We ran all the way to the other end. We did a lot of time this morning down in Spring Creek. And what we did, we just kind of got in the backs of those pockets. We got in the backs of those pockets, and we saw a lot of guys just fishing the bank. They were really just throwing a swim jig. They were really throwing, just a lot of top water. First team on this morning was throwing top water and had a lot of action in that pocket. And we were thinking, oh man, we're about to see a shad spawn here. We really didn't catch any fish. And that was Jake Gibson and Michael Gibson this morning. They started out this morning with us first. And then we move on down the list here. We saw Donnie Beckman and Tony Harvey for 4. Early this morning they had 4 for 10 pounds, which is a pretty good start to your morning. And then we moved around and caught up with Jonathan Skinner and Joshua Clark, and they had 13 pounds, and they said this, we've got a big smallmouth. And they were in Spring Creek this morning, and they were kind of fishing the bank, just kind of working it around. We moved on down the lake. After it really, this morning, it started to get rough. The wind really picked up, and we had to make a long run all the way to get back, and the current is getting really blown out of proportion here. So we caught up with Keith Van and Jeremy Jones. They only had 1 fish. You didn't get to see that on live. We did make some TV with them. But the big day, Nolan Spencer and Jonathan Reese had 3 fish. And that's just kind of where we were all morning. We really just kind of bounced around. We really didn't get anybody that had one team at the end there had 18 pounds. So, and I'm not going to tell you who it was because you've already seen it on live, but we're going to save it for the weigh-in, and that'll be this afternoon. And we're really going to have a good weigh-in this afternoon. I expect to see over 20 pounds. I know we've seen a lot of teams this morning in that 13 to 14 pound range, but I'm betting we're going to see 20 pounds. Darian, what did you see this morning?
Yeah, man, we started off hot and heavy, and I told the guys I feel like I owe money for a pay-per-view, how close we got to watch that fishing, and it was awesome. I got to hear a lot of times we're doing live, you don't get to hear these fish bite. We heard every fish bite, and it was just visually a really awesome morning what we were able to see. But covered the anglers of the year, and Damian Willis, Tyler Kiker, they put a clinic on. They missed some big fish, had a lot of opportunities. One interesting thing that I've been thinking of since the rest of this day has unfolded, those guys started on a spot, fished it very thoroughly. They had a few big bites and didn't connect on those. They've got around 14 pounds the last time we talked to them. But they're in an area that Luke is, or they were catching their fish in an area that Luke is on now, or end of the day on with another guy or another team that's got around 18 pounds. So I would be curious to see if, those fish obviously move up and down. That's the main bar of the lake, and people are all over it, and there's different groups of fish all over it. But if Damian and Tyler are able to go back to that same spot, if there's fish in the afternoon that pull up, we're hearing about a feeding frenzy happening now with the last boat that Jason covered and the boat that Luke is on now. So be interesting to see if those guys are able to go back to some of their areas and catch fish out on that main river bar. And man, it sounds like it's gonna be fireworks. It's cool that we've randomly found 2 other boats that have got 18 pounds. And I like that Jason is leaving us with a cliffhanger. We have no clue what boat number, or maybe y'all remember what boat number, but we'll have to see at weigh-ins how that's gonna go. I'm with Jason. I think over 20 pounds takes the win. I don't think it's gonna be the 30 that we've seen in the past. And that's all I got, guys. Thank you for joining on. Luke Duncan, your turn.
Thank you, Darian. Wind and the weather have definitely been the story of the day, other than how versatile this lake is fished. Man, we have been up this deep watching guys throw frogs, throw swim jigs, throw chatterbaits at the bank, at emergent grass. We started our day, though, out on the Decatur Flats, around some shad spawn type stuff with chatterbaits. We saw some freeloaders come into play for Grubbs and Ferguson. We saw Zeke Gossett, John Kellett with a great limit this morning on chatterbait. And just now, though, in the afternoon here, we pulled up on, in the mid-morning, I should say, on Jake Abernathy and Mark Singleton. They estimate they got a little over 17, maybe even 18 pounds. They've sat on this spot since 6:30 this morning. They're in a protected area. And like Darian said, Willis and Kiker were actually on the other side of the 31 bridge. So Abernathy and Singleton, they're out on the flats, but in this little protected spot, like I said, you would not even know that the wind is howling where these guys are sitting. And right when we pulled up, they were catching one, taking their time with it. Jake actually reached over and lipped the fish. They didn't even net it. He looked at it, threw it back. It was a really nice fish. So they've been here since takeoff. Fish are biting. The biggest issue a lot of our anglers are having is definitely the weather conditions. I heard from Lance and Cole Walker sent me a text that they had around 12 pounds, but with the wind, they ended up abandoning the flats early, and they ran all the way down to the lower end of the lake to try to get out of the wind, some of the more protective areas down there. Of course, travel being the issue, it takes a lot of time in some of this rough water to get to and from Ingalls Harbor. So everything kind of has to come together for somebody to win $15,000. But one thing's for sure, at Ingalls Harbor, starting at 2:30 this afternoon, we're going to see who's going to take that home. We ran into a team out here, the Acres, Caden and Chris, that may have that Mountain Dew Big Bass. They thought it weighed 8 pounds. It was really big. We didn't get close enough to get an exact weight on it, but it was a giant bass. So we can promise you fireworks, just like Darian and Jason said, at Ingalls Harbor starting at 2:30 this afternoon. I can't wait. Come on out. The first 50 folks that show up at Ingalls Harbor are going to get a Crush City hat for free. And if the hats or anything like those baits, if you put it on, I feel like bass are just going to come to your boat just like they do when you throw those Crush City baits out there. Miss Kay, I'm excited about hanging around Ingalls Harbor this afternoon and, you know, calling out some big bass. Maybe we even weigh in a big Dotson again today. Who knows?
Well, you certainly ended our weigh-in pretty exciting last week at Logan Martin, weighing in the Dotson. I think it was a 16-pound dog. I mean, that's a pretty large Dotson. But one thing I want to say is last week at Logan Martin, we saw a lot of fishing boat docks. We saw a lot of people fishing boat docks. Today, we saw a lot of people fishing swim jigs and a lot different types of fishing that we saw today. But what I see more than anything is that 13 to 15-pound range. We have a lot of people sitting there. Who's going to be able to catch that 8-pounder, that 7-pounder, that 6-pounder to put them over into that 20-pound range? That's going to be the key today. Pretty much we watched Damian Willis, Tyler Kiker put on a clinic. We've seen them do that on sight fishing at Weiss Lake. We got to see that today in very shallow grass areas fishing for largemouth bass. So it's going to be a fun weigh-in today at 2:30 Ingalls Harbor. Bring your lawn chairs, bring your umbrellas, and come out and enjoy the weigh-in. Looking forward to giving out some Crush City hats provided by Rapala. And we'll see you guys back in just a few hours here on the Alabama Bass Trail. Third stop of the North Division, Decatur, Alabama. We'll see you in just a little bit.
Alabama Bass Trail has been presented by AmFirst Credit Union and sponsored by Phoenix Boats, Landers McClarty Chevrolet, McGraw-Webb Chevrolet, Jax, Garmin, Rapala, VMC, Crush City, Pro Guide Batteries, Mountain Dew, TH Marine, American Baitworks, and Sweet Home Alabama. Live coverage of the Alabama Bass Trail is brought to you by Garmin, Power Pole, Big Bite Baits, Mountain Dew, Yamaha.
At Phoenix Boats, our passion for fishing is obvious. Whether it's a pro event or fishing with our family and friends,
we truly love the sport of fishing.
That's why our goal is to make every single Phoenix boat that goes out the door the best fishing platform it can be in both design and construction.
We love to fish as much as anyone, and we believe it shows in every boat we build.
Phoenix Boats, built by anglers for anglers.
Here at Lanners McClarty Chevrolet, it's time to pick your offer on a new Chevy Silverado 1500. That's right, pick the offer that's best for you. Choose rates as low as 2.9% for 72 months, or how about up to $12,000 off all Silverados? They have the best selection in years with over 500 pre-owned vehicles available. Big store, big on saving.